What is up, my dudes? Well, listen, I get it. Not everybody likes the universes beyond. It's not everyone's cup of tea. When I see a powerful, interesting commander, I get to shimmying and I get to a shaking and my blood begins to boil inside my American veins, where the red, white, and blue blood courses. And that's what we're doing this week. We're talking about some better commanders from the set. This dude, Bumi, is pretty powerful, dude. Let's talk about it. But first, subscribe to the channel, brother. It's free. It's super helpful. Closing in on 20,000 subscribers, which I get almost nothing for other than a sense of satisfaction in the love of my brothers. The army of hot and hungry hyenas out there. I love you, fellas. All right, check out this card from Avatar, Bumi Unleashed. This guy's 3 red and a green, legendary creature, human noble ally. It's a 5/4 with trample. When it enters, Earth Bend 4. So target land you control becomes a 0/0 creature with haste that's still a land. Put 4+1/+1 counters on it. When it dies or is exiled, return it to the battlefield tapped. And whenever Bumi deals combat damage to a player, untap all lands you control. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase, and only land creatures can attack during that combat phase. Okay, so first thing with this guy is that the creature land just stays a creature. It's not until end of turn. That effect seems to last indefinitely, which is pretty rad. I also like how the earthbending kind of eliminates the risk of having your lands become creatures. You don't want your mana wiped out in a creature board wipe. They come back, which is kind of nice. I also like the art on this thing. It looks like an old man, just like me. It's got my dad's haircut. You ever see those old men with the baseball caps? White hair sticking out in the sides? That hat is covering a dome, brother. A bald dome. You better believe it. I like how Bumi just owns that. And second thing to talk about here is that last ability is basically saying that you get a second turn on your turn, which is wild. Any lands you tapped prior to combat get untapped, doubling your resources. Again, that's wild, man. It's pretty amazing. You don't have to attack with them. You also have this land creature earthbending route you can go with the deck. There are a bunch of earthbenders from the Avatar sets, like this guy. And that's Topher Grace, the greatest earthbender. This guy is 2 red and a green, legendary creature, human warrior ally. It's a 3/3, and when it enters, earthbend X, where X is the amount of mana spent to cast her. Land creatures you control have double strike. All of a sudden, there's an army of lands ready to bash in, and maybe bash in again with that extra combat from Bumi. And speaking of extra combats here, you can easily combo out with Aggravated Assault. This beautiful Secret Lair version is like $13. It's 2 and a red for an enchantment, 3 red, untap all creatures you control. After this main phase, there's an additional combat phase, followed by an additional main phase, activate only as a sorcery. So you bash in with Bumi again, untap all lands again, and the beat goes on and on. And of course, this little banger can go pretty nuts too, and that's Anzrag the Quake Mole. This guy's only 4 mana for an 8/4. It's a legendary mole god, just like me, dude. Whenever Anzrag becomes blocked, untap each creature you control. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase. Has 3 red, green. Anzrag must be blocked each combat this turn if able. His claws tear at the foundations of civilization. Disgusting, dude. There's fecal material in those claws for sure. It's probably gonna die, but that's life, dude. That's the downside to all those extra combats. If your enabler gets blocked too many times and dies, you gotta be smart about it. Also goes kind of nuts with this guy. This one has been a bomb since it came out, Ashaya, the Soul of the Wild. 3 green, a legendary creature, elemental, it's a star. Power and toughness are each equal to the number of lands you control. Non-token creatures you control are forest lands in addition to their other types. So the creatures are lands, the lands are creatures, it's a whole rigmarole out there. This creates some weird interactions. If you earthbend onto, say, like an embodiment of fury out there, has trample, land creatures you control have trample. So Ashaya's out there, this is a land, earthbend onto it, now it's got that text, when it dies or is exiled, return it to the battlefield tapped. It adds a weird resilience to your board of support creatures. And of course, there are all these land creature lords, like the embodiment of insight. Land creatures you control have vigilance, but it also has landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, you may have target land you control become a 3/3 elemental creature with haste until end of turn. It's still a land. Both of these have landfall, so you should definitely lean into that. All your ramps should be land fetching ramp. Imagine earthbending onto a Sakura Tribe Elder, right? If he's a land with Ashaya, sack him, get a land, he comes back tapped. Earthbend later, sack him, get a land, rinse and repeat. It's always so sad when that little sneaky idiot dies. Not anymore. And of course, you're putting counters on stuff, right? Green has so many counter increasing cards, it's ridiculous. Hardened scales type effects, right? Look how self-satisfied this guy is in his hardened scales. That's Golran. He's the belle of the ball in that drag outfit. You also have Terra Symbiosis, 2 and a green for an enchantment. Whenever you put 1 or more +1/+1 counters on a creature you control, you may draw that many cards and do this only once each turn. Man, those Eumidians, dude, they're going to the light until we meet again. That's what the Eumidians say again and again. Salome. Now, I alluded to it before with Sakura Tribe Elder, but the ability to have sack fodder that comes back can be really handy. You have cards like Crop Rotation, right? 1 green for an instant. As an additional cost to cast a spell, sacrifice a land. Search your library for a land card, put that onto the battlefield, and then shuffle. Of note, this lets you search for any land, even a damn command tower, brother. You know, then that Earthbended card comes back. That's free real estate. Spook it. And of course, there are some weird but really awesome creature pump effects in addition to the lords we already touched on. You have a Raga Draga out there. This guy's the pig, man. 2 red and a green for a legendary creature, human boar. It's a 4/4. Each creature you control with a mana ability gets +2/+2. Those little land creatures have mana abilities. Whenever a creature you control with a mana ability attacks, untap it. Also has, whenever you cast a spell, if at least 7 mana was spent to cast it, untap target creature. It gets +7/+7, gains trample until end of turn. Oh my god. Those earthbended lands are creatures with mana abilities, so they get that pump, they untap, cast a big creature spell, give that sucker even more pump and trample. This is a slept on pig, man. You can cast a big old spell like Omnath, the big jelly belly himself, looking like a snack. Literally, that landfall is really good. How about this little Tanuki? Tanuk Memorial Ensign, 1 red and a green, legendary creature Kavu Pilot. It's a 2/4, has landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, Tanuk deals 1 damage to each opponent. If this is the second time this ability is resolved this turn, draw a damn card. Look at that beautiful Kavu. I did build a nice little shell around this commander, but it ain't a budget deck, man. I wanted to see how juicy this thing was, and guess what? It's decently juicy, man, I will say that. Overall, very interesting commander. I wish I had some connection to this set. I wish I knew the lore a little bit, you know? It's like really cartoony. I like this guy, but probably not enough to build a deck around him despite the power on display here. It is fair, though. Definitely has its pitfalls. There are so many times when you just can't get through for damage, you know, and your whole strategy kind of falls apart. But it's not like your strategy is going to completely fall apart at that point. You can go counters and landfall shenanigans. I dig it, and I dig you, brother. Nikki G, Better Commander, signing off.